All right, everyone. An interesting article from MSNBC, link in the description, archived, of course, in which they contend that Donald Trump's strategy of touring blue states, gone to California, New York, and a few others lately, makes no sense because you're making the end run of the election. It's now the middle of October. You've only got a few weeks left until the voting actually happens. Early voting has already begun. By the way, in several states, it looks like the GOP has considerably increased its early voting requests. It's going to be more difficult to flummox the election this time around, I think, especially when all the polling is flashing red for the Dems. What I would say is the strategy is actually quite easy to understand. Donald Trump is marginally ahead in virtually all of the swing states, and if we assume polling differential and presumptively turnout differential for the two parties, it appears that is metastasizing and materializing right now, then he's less concerned about buffing himself up. He knew that in the last couple weeks of the election. What he's doing right now is mainly fundraising. He's trying to drive up enthusiasm in areas that Republicans feel unrepresented in hopes of getting campaign donations, because Kamala has outraised him by 3 times, actually. That's because she has big billionaires on her side. All the banks and corporations, generally, they want Kamala. I think secretly, it's more about the fact that they're just not keen on Trump's governing style. They like his economic proposals and shit, but I digress. Now, I think it has to do with fundraising more than anything else. He can go to a rally in some area of the country that hasn't seen a Republican candidate bother to visit them in 1,000 years, and then those people are like, well, there's a candidate that actually gives a damn. I'll pitch in $100 or something like that. And that's what's happening. MSNBC is pretending that he's just gone daft and he's wasting his time. He's not going to these states and then just fiddling and sitting on his ass. He's going to multiple rallies sometimes every day and hitting up those states for a short period of time to drive up enthusiasm. That's basically all he's doing. More enthusiasm that trickles over to those people, by the way, touting Trump. In an international marketplace of ideas, you can drum up support in one area and it bleeds out into other areas that don't even have anything to do with it. A bunch of people in Iowa are enthused about a policy, all of a sudden people in Texas are talking about it. This is the way, and it's a 15-second news cycle. It used to be 15 minutes. Now it's 15 seconds. Soon it'll be 1.5 milliseconds. That's about the average TikToker's attention span anyway. The blue wall strategy is shrewd. Republican commentators are like, what is he doing? He needs money. That money allows him to put up ads, by the way, in other states. It allows him to hold more events. It allows him to do the things that he needs to do to get elected. If you look at the polling right now, he's got an advantage in 5 of the 6 main battleground states already. And again, with even a 2-point swing differential in polling, if we assume that the polls are oversampling Dems by just 2 or 3 points, which historically would actually be abnormally low, it's probably more like 5 points, then he's not going to be so worried about those states. He doesn't have to. He can focus his efforts in getting money and roll that over into advertising and, paying people in other states, including those competitive ones. I would say he should be targeting Virginia more. I think it's in play. We don't have a great deal of new polling from Virginia, but it looks, again, historically speaking, like it's going to be close to a 50-50 sum game. I think that he needs to hit up Georgia again, though, because their court system is making an 11th hour attempt to re-flummox the election there. They're trying to do the ballot printers go burr and, a fraudulent mail-in ballot sort of thing. And let there be no mistake. The Republicans are definitely going to be behind the Democrats with regards to mail-in ballots and early voting. But it's a closer gap than it was. Just like the Republicans are not going to win with Latino voters. But it's going to be a lot closer than in past elections. Same with black voters. Pretty much every demographic known to man, other than white females at this point, has been moving in the Trump and MAGA direction. And away from standard neoconservatism and neoliberalism in favor of a populist sort of mentality. I think that this movement at this point has grown so large and so capable and so flexible that it's not going anywhere. Some people ask the question, well, once Trump is gone, how is MAGA going to survive? There are all sorts of potential people. J.D. Vance would be one of them, simply because he's the running mate. He would be VP. That's possible. You could also get somebody like Ramaswamy. You could get a Rand Paul. I mean, he's not core MAGA, but he shares some of that populist element. Tulsi would definitely be on the list, you know, potentially like a Rubio or a Cruz, although I don't think so. I don't think they're going to bother. It'll probably be J.D. Vance running in 2028. Actually, that might be regardless of whether Trump wins or not, because he was the running mate, so he would still have that technical seniority. But as far as the blue wall strategy, Trump, I think, is doing one other thing, setting the groundwork for a much more large movement so that they have state-level power. Yes, he's hoping that trickles down so that there will be a bunch of MAGA in the blue states to form an actual counterbalance against the Democratic Party. This strategy remains something that the neocons are oblivious to. They don't understand the strategy. Trump is a strategic mind. He looked at it and he said, I'm going to win these swing states if I can fundraise in these marginal areas and get millions and millions of dollars doing that. I can roll that over into multiplying the damage I can do to the Kamala Harris campaign in other states too. It just makes sense. That's about all. Peace out.